Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Mike Francesa channel, on the Bet Rivers Network, on YouTube on this Monday night. And I can hear the city from one end to the other, from Manhattan to Wall Street to the Bronx to Queens. I can hear the cheering in the streets right now as the Knicks come through with a dramatic overtime win in game number one. Now, we talked about it this morning. There was a big opportunity to win game one. There is in these games when the other team has had a lot of time off. They've had a soft series. A lot went into that. But I have to tell you this. While I thought the Knicks had a great chance, they were really good play with the points this morning. I thought they had a great chance to win game one. When this game was 75-55, I wouldn't have given you a nickel for the Knicks' chances to win this game. Not one. And then OG hit two huge threes, and they got rolling, and they hit big shots, and they did two things tonight that were imperative. Imperative. Yes, they got the Brunson flurry that got them in front, but they made a comeback in the beginning of the fourth quarter with Brunson on the bench, and they won this game after Brunson's heroics had gotten them the lead. He did not score a point in the last 8 minutes of playing time, the 3 minutes in regulation and 5 minutes of overtime. He had multiple turnovers at the end of the regulation. I'm not getting on him. My point is the other guys stepped up and made plays, which is so important if they're going to do anything in this series. They have got to be able to do it without him. They have got to be able to make plays without him. And tonight, OG made so many big plays. The 2 threes that got the run started, big three after big three, the three that put them back on top, okay, late in the game, the overtime plays. And if you can have an important game when you go 3 for 13 from the floor and score 8 points, Bridges did that tonight. His line, forget the rebounds and assists. He was 3 for 13. That's un-Bridges like, and I expect more. But he hit a huge three in overtime, and he must have made in this game so countless. He made 5 or 6 in overtime. Countless plays that go unnoticed. So many defensive plays, so many defensive covers, so many defensive adjustments, so many getting his hands on a ball as he did out of bounds to save a steal, as he did in the last 3 seconds of the game. He played 51 minutes in this game tonight and played superb defense. Incredible intangibles from OG offensively to Bridges defensively. The 11 points they got off the bench from a guard, no less, and they've been getting nothing from the guards. Getting that from McBride was key, so key, whether it was in the second quarter or if it was in overtime. I mean, in the beginning of the fourth quarter. 18 minutes, 11 points. Now, Robinson had a nightmare, and they went to a little bit of a hack of Rob, and it worked. He was 3 for 10. The Knicks were 14 of 21 without Robinson. Add Robinson in, and they had a nightmare from the foul line. Okay, he's got to do better. He's got to at least get them 50%, because if he gets over 50%, they'll lay off. If he makes a couple of 2 in a row, they'll lay off. We'll do that. But this was a game that the Celtics led by 16 at the half, and I said to someone at the half, the Celtics are up 16, and they played badly. Played a bad half, and they're up 16. That's how bad this game has been. And the Knicks were giving up offensive rebounds. They were giving up second chances. Celtics got their hands on a lot of offensive rebounds tonight. But here's the key to this game. First, these first games are very tough on the team that hasn't played. No question. You saw it with Cleveland and Indiana. You might see it with the Thunder tonight later on. you saw it with the Celtics. The Celtics in this game were atrocious from three, and that's after they did what they wanted to do. They exposed Brunson and Towns, as we said they would this morning, got them both in foul trouble in the first half, and then didn't pay it off. Why? Because they couldn't make a three in the second half. They couldn't get one to fall. The Celtics were a disaster. They shot 15 of 60. 25% from three. They shot 35% for the game, 25% from three. The Knicks outscore them in this game from three by 6 points, and they took 23 fewer threes. Think about that. The Knicks were 17 of 37. They were 15 of 60. Porzingis, listen, this is why Porzingis has never been my favorite player. Is he talented? Yes. Is he big? Yes. Is he gifted? Yes. Does he have a lot of qualities you don't like? Yes. You don't want to call them qualities, you want to call them character flaws. I don't know what happened to him tonight, but I do know this. In the first quarter, when you have a player a foot shorter than you, and they run a play for you, dunk the basketball. Okay. He plays the first quarter. He doesn't score a point. And then we don't see him the rest of the night. He goes 0 for 4 from the floor. But look at these numbers. Brown, 1 for 10 from three, 7 for 20 from the floor. Tatum, 4 for 15 from three, 7 of 23 from the floor. White, 5 for 16 from three. Holiday, 2 of 7 from three. Horford, 1 of 5 from three. Pritchard hurt the Knicks in the first half. He had 13 points in the last minute of the first quarter and the second quarter play. This guy comes off the bench and leads the team in scoring at the half. He has 13 points. They don't go back to him. Mistake. If I'm going to give Horford minutes, I'm going to give him minutes. I'm going to give Pritchard some minutes. I understand they wanted to play Horford because they didn't have Porzingis. I understand that. But there were times they could have gone to a smaller lineup, and Pritchard could have helped them when they couldn't have anybody buy a three. And there were long points in that second half where the Celtics could not buy a three. At one point, I think they were 1 of 15 from three over a period of time. Remember, this is the team that lives and dies. They shot 63s. If they make 25, 26 of these, this game is a rout. They made 15 of them. They shot 25%. Did they close the gap when the Knicks went up 6? Yes. Brunson turned the ball over a couple times. All right. He threw a pass away. He had a bad violation. He got caught, turned the ball over, he palmed the ball. He did. All right. He made a couple of mistakes there. The bottom line is the Knicks got what they needed from Brunson when they needed it. And then they were able to respond when after he had the flurry, the three, the 2 free throws, the three that took them from, tied the game at 89, 91, put them up 94, 91, put them up 97, 91. That was all Brunson. After that, they went to this defense where they put a primary on Brunson. They switched Horford to Brunson, but they always kept the guard about 4 feet away so that he was always in trapping mode. So that Brunson knew if he moved, he was going to be double teamed. And it took the Knicks a little while to adjust that, but they did. And again, every time they went to Anunoby for a big basket, he made it. What a game for him tonight. 29 points, 6 threes, some big dunks. Bridges got 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, got his hands on how many countless balls, changed how many shots, played brilliant defense despite the fact he didn't shoot the ball well. Hart gave you an intangible game. He played a lot of minutes. He did a good job. Robinson, I think the free throws affected him. They got to work with them. if they can get him up to just a level where he can feel confident, then he can play those minutes on the court. Towns didn't have a big game, but he had a game where he made some plays when he had to. And this is an enormous win for them in game one. This would have been a tough game. Once they went up 6, if they had lost this game, it would have been a brutal game to lose. It really would have. It was a game that was there, and when you have those, when you're a big underdog in a series and you have a chance to steal game one, you got to steal it. Oh, the Celtics going to have a big problem winning games in Madison Square Garden? No, we know that. Do the Knicks play really well on the road? Yes. They've proved that in the playoffs. They prove it all the time in the playoffs. They prove it there in the regular season. The Knicks are a good road team. And they're not unbeatable in their building. We know that. Home court isn't going to be the factor that you think it is. But they get out and they get a start. And they get a free game in game 2. You don't expect them to win game 2, but hey, you go out there and you give it everything you got. The pressure fall. Hey, the pressure in a 7-game series goes immediately to the team that loses, because anytime you lose 2 games in a row in a 7-game series, you are impacted greatly. I don't care if you're the heavy favorite or not. So this was a terrific win. And from where they were at the half to where they were with 5 minutes and 47 seconds left, White, believe it was White, hit a 3 to put them up 20. And I'm like, this thing's over. I have to admit, I said, this thing's over. They're not coming back. And from right there, OG made a 3, made another 3. Knicks got a 9-0 run. Celtics called a timeout. And then at the start of the fourth quarter, with Brunson getting some meaningful minutes rest, which he has to get, they make a comeback, led by the scoring OG, who's had a tremendous game. Okay? You know how significant it is when anybody but Towns or Brunson leads this team in scoring. OG tonight with 29 points. Brunson finished with 29 points. Only had 5 assists. He was a little off that way. Their playmaking was a little off. Okay? But they also missed some shots that he set guys up for that they didn't make. I thought Hart gave you a very solid game with 14 points and 11 rebounds. Bridges, despite his 3 for 13 shooting, had an important game. An important game. He played 51 minutes and did an incredible job on defense. Now, I don't know where Porzingis is. I don't know what's up with Hauser. He limps off. Porzingis doesn't come back. Brown, they tell you, is on a bad knee, but Brown played 44 minutes tonight, so I don't want to hear about his knee. He also took 20 shots, so I don't want to hear about anything. He just went 1 for 10 from 3. And Tatum went 4 for 15. Tatum came out like he was going to, just destroy people. And White, who took 16 threes tonight, took a lot of bad ones. Quick ones, bad ones. And Holiday back was key. He's a pain in the neck. He had 16 points. He plays defense. He gets up on the offensive glass. He had 5 offensive rebounds. He's a pain in the neck. Not having Porzingis there is a factor. And I don't know where. See, if Porzingis played to his ability, the Celtic team would be a serious, serious championship threat. But he doesn't. He's erratic. He's inconsistent. And that makes them erratic and inconsistent in terms of championship play. And they're going to live and they're going to die from 3. And when they go out and shoot 63s and they still get outscored by the team that goes out and shoots 37 threes, well, they expect to lose that game. That's why if the Knicks had gone out there, shot 17 for 37 from 3, and lost to the Celtics on the night they outscored them from three when the Celtics took 63s, they would have been, how are we going to beat them? If we can't beat them on this night, how are we going to beat them? And fortunately, they were able to beat them in overtime, and they didn't get the shot off in overtime. And again, I can question some of the strategies and some of the things that went on, but you know what? It all adds up to one thing: a game one win, a tremendous comeback, and a very meaningful start to the series. Very meaningful. Don't get crazy now off one game. Okay, the Celtics will be much better with or without Porzingis. They'll be much better in the next game. Don't know what's up with Porzingis. I have no idea. But you never know what's up with Porzingis anyway. You really don't. But what you like so much tonight, hey, they're always going to need Brunson to lead them. That's who they are. That's how they're built. But they were able to overcome when it wasn't him. When he's off the floor at the start of the fourth quarter and down the stretch when he didn't score, they still won the game. Whether it was OG on a dunk or whether it was Bridges on a three or it was Bridges making a great defensive play, or getting a tip in here or a big play there, they were able to make the plays they had to make. So any way you slice this, the bottom line is coming out with a W, and they did that. And some things jump out at you, okay? Does Robinson have to be better from three? Yes. I mean, from the foul line, yes. He can't, 3 for 10 is going to kill people. It's going to kill the Knicks. And the Knicks tonight shoot 17 of 31 from the foul line. Yeah, that's going to come back to haunt you. You got to make your free throws. But think of how many threes that the Celtics had tonight that weren't contested that they missed. There were some quick ones. There were some contested ones, but there were a lot of open ones that they missed. Heck, they took 60 of them. 63s. They took 97 shots. They took 63s. And they made 15. The Knicks took 37 threes and made 17. Brunson 5 for 9. For him, very good from three. OG 6 for 11. He's become a very proficient three-point shooter the second half of this season. Hart and Bridges, 3 for 10. 1 for 5 for Hart, 2 for 5 for Bridges, including that huge one that put them up a margin after the OG basket. The Bridges 3 put them up. The first play was the OG three-point play, conventional three-point play that put him up 103-100, and then Bridges hits the three in the corner that puts him up 106-100, and the Knicks don't look back from there. That was enormous. OG was brilliant. Bridges was an Iron Man, and like I said, I expect a lot more from him offensively. He had a rare bad shooting night. Doesn't have a lot of terrible shooting nights. That was a bad one tonight, but the other things he did were tremendous. So a classic game one, come from behind win. And hey, again, peaks and valleys. Celtics down 6, came back with 7 straight points. But the Knicks were able to answer that. They kept answering when they had to. And it wasn't anywhere near a one-man show. As a matter of fact, in the last 8 minutes of play, one Brunson at all. And that's a good sign. Most nights it's going to be him, and he had his flurry. and he scored 29 points. But they got big plays from other people and big plays when they needed them. And that was a game that they grinded and came back. Hey, you're down 20 in the Boston Garden with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. It's not easy to come back from 20 down. And they did. But they took 9 points off that board in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye. The thing went from 20 to 11 before you knew what hit you. And then at the start of the fourth quarter, they came in and got those big baskets to start that fourth quarter. And that was critical. It really was, because, you're trying to give Brunson a rest there. And you're able to do that. And you come out and you're 9 points down. And you're saying to yourself, okay, I got to make some plays. And McBride hits a three, and now it's 84-78. And then Towns gets a layup, and now it's 84-80. And OG hits a three, as he did all night, hit every big shot, and now it's 84-83. And then it's 86-84. And the next thing you know, it's 86 up after an OG dunk, and away we go. 86 up. Holiday hit a three to make it 89, but then Brunson came in the game, and that's where his flurry started. He made 3 threes and 2 free throws. He made 11 straight points, and that is what gave them a cushion. Now, they gave that cushion back, but after that, his teammates took back over. They needed that boost from him, and he gave them 11 straight points. 3 threes and 2 free throws. Yes, they relinquished the lead, but they made plays, and they did it without him scoring, which is critical to who they are. This team has got to get contributions from not just the five, but especially the wings and the bench. And tonight they did. Robinson played 20 minutes. They got 11 points in 18 minutes out of McBride. They have to get some scoring off the bench in this series. Tonight they got 11 points out of McBride. He made some big baskets, including that one I just noted. That's how you win these games. Was I surprised at how uneven and how poor the Celtic offense executed? I was. I really was. I want to see how many assists they had in the game, because the Celtics only had 6 assists in the first half. Wound up with 18 assists. Second half was better. They only had 6 in the first half. I thought they played poorly in the first half, and they were up 16. And they had both Brunson and Towns in foul trouble, which was what their game plan was, to expose those guys and drive at them, make Brunson's guy play, make Brunson play in the defense, and against Towns, if he picks up a guy on the perimeter, they know they can go around him every time. And they did in the first half. In the second half, nothing worked. Nothing worked. And they resorted to just taking 3 after 3 after 3. And you know what? A lot of them missed. Celtics scored 23 points in the third quarter, 16 points in the fourth quarter, and 5 points in the overtime. It means in 29 minutes of basketball in the second half, the Celtics scored 44 points in 29 minutes. Not exactly Celtic basketball. But that's what happens when you're launching 3 after 3 after 3 and they're missing. That's the problem. The Celtics are built to knock down threes. Tonight, they didn't. And their big guns, were 6 for 25 from 3. Excuse me, 5 for 25 for 3. That's not going to cut it. That's 20%. Not going to cut it. 1 for 10 from Brown, 4 for 15 for Tatum, throwing 5 for 16 for White. That is 41 threes from 3 players. Wow. And they made 10 out of 41. Not going to do it. Not in the second round of the playoffs. So the Knicks get game 1. They'll get ready for a game 2. Games 3 and 4, which now people will go, if its prices weren't high enough, now they'll go even higher. Now they will go even higher. For Saturday at 3:30 and Monday night at 7:30. Games 3 and game 4. Enjoy your evening.